I would like to welcome a special person to the stage. Azra Osmancevic, that will be a fantastic conferencier and moderator. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
Let's sit down.
Does this work? Yeah, it does. So, Klementina, I told my 15-year-old niece that I was going to attend this cool VC event next week. And she was like, She thought for like a minute, and then she was like, so are you going to get the money, or are you just going to talk about it? That's cocky 15-year-olds these days. So, my name is Azra Osmancevic, and I'm the CEO of Third Ear Studio. I've also been angel investing for the past decade, so I guess that's one of the main reasons I'm here. I will be your host for the next 2 days. Super excited, and I know we have a jam-packed agenda, so we're not going to waste any time. Klementina, I'm diving straight right into it with you.
Okay.
So how do you see GoWest's role in driving innovation and investments forward?
Well, I guess that we're all in an economical situation in all the countries that are visiting us today. But entrepreneurship is blooming. Entrepreneurship is cross-border, is cross-sector. So it's important for everybody. And this is our future. So I guess that what we're hoping for is not to just talk about money, but to see transactions coming up.
And like I mentioned, we have a jam-packed agenda. So there are a lot of activities, panel sessions. Is there any particular one that you like? They should make sure not to miss it. And I know it's a tough question. You need to kill your darlings, but give it a shot.
It's so many speakers. Yes, we have a great agenda. I do love to meet people, and I guess that what I really want to recommend to everybody is to download the B2Match app. That's the matchmaking platform, because here on the next floor we have the matchmaking going on.
Yeah, the mingle area. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think what I would recommend everybody is to meet people also one-to-one, mingle. But okay, the program. I guess that I love the exit theme that we're going to have, and that's tomorrow. It's tomorrow at the end at lunch, so don't miss that. And then we have a special surprise at that time. But also the emerging technologies that comes up at 2, and the startup comedy that is coming at 4:30 today.
So yeah, we can don't just miss that one.
Laugh it out. Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one. So we also have our first panel here on the stage today. So besides Klementina, we also have Ola Serneke with us, the visionary entrepreneur behind Kalatornet, where we're at. Pontus Ottosson from Chalmers Ventures, and Elisabeth Ringqvist, Vice Chair of the Committee of Industry and also a trade and business angel. So, Ola, I want to start with you. Kalatornet is obviously a very ambitious project. So can you share your vision for it and what it means for the West region?
I started with this project 2004, so of course it's a long time. It's a journey that's been of course ups and downs. To start with, I'm really happy to be here and sit in this event to share this with you, and happy to be here. But from the beginning, actually, the areas was not the best area in Gothenburg, and the vision was to create a project that become a mixed city with the businesses that survive. And my vision was to create basis for these activities with many square meters. And with many square meters, you need to build higher. And this also
How
creates...
high is it? How high is it?
It's 247 meters, so it's quite high. But it's quite funny, because when we talked to SOM, that was the architect, they said that it's not that high, but it's a high rise. But also the indirect was also that it creates basis for the public transportation. So when it's lots of people, then it creates basis for the public transportation to go all the time. So all this, and of course the observation deck that I know that some of you will visit. It will attract the part of the city, and also of course attract Gothenburg as a city more. So and also to show that we can do this kind of projects in Sweden. So lots of things, but the main part was to create possibilities for business in the bottom of the houses to survive.
So, Elisabeth, how crucial is capital for business growth and development, and how does Sweden, would you say, position itself in a global context?
So, very short, capital is sort of, there are only two things that make a country grow, and it's talent and capital. So, and sort of you're the talent, but we have both talent and capital here. And we must ensure that we still have a very sort of liquid capital market within Sweden, because that is super crucial for companies to grow. As a business angel, I've seen the past few years, it's super difficult because there are not too many exits. And when there are no exits, business angel capital dries up because you can't allocate that much money to early stage ventures. So what I see is that this year is going to be sort of the year when actually more IPOs will happen and we'll have more exits. So it's going to be sort of a more loosened grip on a very frosty capital market for smaller businesses. And we must make sure then, if I talk as a politician, that we do not mess it up, because we have a pretty good climate right now, but there are forces that want to destroy this fantastic climate that we have built for so many years. And we just have to increase and improve it, because other countries are just going extremely fast, like super fast, to ensure that their startup community and capital is growing faster.
And Pontus, you attended GoWest last year, right? So how has the investment landscape changed since then, would you say?
Well, it's hard to say that such a short time, 1 year, but I see the bigger trends is that it has been a frosty year, absolutely, especially for companies that not has delivered and reached their milestones. It has been very, very tough. On the other hand, I can also see that there is an interest for deep tech, tough tech, for companies that is actually making a difference in the world. And I see both institutional capital, but also family office that say that we want to go into companies that actually make a difference. So I can see that good ideas, good companies, they can attract capital, maybe not on the high valuations that we had 2-3 years ago, but they can still attract capital, and there is an interest. And I hope that you're right, that we can see some more exits and so on, that capital is coming back a little bit more. But the good interest for deep tech companies, that is making a difference. Yeah.
And Elisabeth, you mentioned you're an angel investor. So where do you see the most exciting opportunities right now?
Well, in a world right now when people sort of think that, well, the Paris agenda is sort of going down the drain and nobody cares anymore, I think that that is still where we have our core and where people find interest and excitement, because we know that the climate change is happening and we need to understand that what will be most valuable in 10 years. Is that something that is CO2 free or not? And the answer is pretty easy, even though we have some tough years ahead of us because of where the US is heading. But then think again, there are a lot of states in the US that you can have sort of that still are pushing their agenda. So it's not that the big markets are closing down. It's actually, you have to look at the big market in a different way. So I think that will still be what makes people excited, that anything that goes with the sustainability agenda of the Paris Agreement.
So Pontus, looking back at last year's GoWest, do you have any personal highlights from last year?
Yeah, there's maybe some from a personal perspective, but I think that the most important highlights, when we had a reflection in team a couple of weeks ago, that we realized that we had some initial discussions regarding some companies with other investors last year, and we actually closed some rounds after this. So actually we made some business. I think that's the core for these years, for these days. It is that meet people, do business, because then we have the value of the meeting.
Raise your hand if you also managed to close some deals after last year's GoWest, if you attended. Yep.
Some here.
Yeah. We have a couple of hands
and
here.
And how many will raise your hand next year?
Yeah.
Not so many. What are you doing here?
It's still 9:30. They're not warmed up yet.
No.
So, Klementina, what would be your best advice then to the audience? How should they maximize these 2 days that we have together?
Well, I hope that they're going to raise their hand soon. But anyway, what I would say is that, go and get the contact. Talk to people. Say, hi, this is me. This is what I do this is my best shot at, this is what I'm going to change. This is what I burn for. So I guess that it's the contact thing. That's where it starts. But then don't forget, after the event, follow up, send the figures, look at your metrics, send the business plan, talk to the investors. And as the investors, we're going to be swamped with deal flow. So please send us everything after, so we can, look at it in a sort of good way.
And you also have the B2 Match app, right?
Yes.
Where you can find each other's contact details, name, and so on. But also make sure to use, of course, social media, LinkedIn and whatnot to make sure that you don't lose each other after this event.
And let's not forget also, we have a lot of people from the ecosystem here, incubators and other organizations that also helps out very well in this progress.
So, Ola, you've spent many, many years as an entrepreneur. So what advice would you share with aspiring entrepreneurs?
Perhaps this can sound a little bit strange, but it's not a 1 or 0 binary answer. But my advice is definitely to be positive in your attitude. And regardless if it's hard times or easy times, and if you are like this, then you create an aura around you, which itself create growth in the company, and of course without having you to do more than just to be positive and listen to people, because if you have this aura, then you get people to work harder, easier, and they will for sure spend 10% harder in the company to create growth and better success. So especially when it's hard times, then you have, it will be the changing.
And also maybe to take help from your network in hard times, and make sure to support each other. So that was it from our first panel. Thank you so much for being with us. Give them a big round of applause.